Family is probably the most important and significant role in a person's life. And what I mean is, they provide a level of significance in our development that is unparalleled in other circles. They train us up to behave, to take care of ourselves in the most simplest forms, such as tying our shoes and brushing our teeth, and in some more advanced forms of dealing with conflict, making wise choices, and choosing relationships over other values that we might put in our lives. If we didn't have family, if we grew up without those sources of input in our lives, they would probably be a series of trials and errors that either resulted in a fear and anxiety or complete surrender to any new experiences, where you would just curl up in a corner and not venture into anything new. Working with men for about 2.5 years in my foster care experience, I realized that there is a huge gap in physical maturity and emotional maturity. I mean that while someone can appear to be very capable of doing great things, they are emotionally unable to, because of a lack of consistent availability of their family as they were growing up through their most formative years. See, their role models were either frequently absent or, in the most extreme cases, permanently absent. To be available for somebody is what makes us family. To be available means that you have somebody's best interest in mind. You try to understand what they are saying before you make yourself understood. You choose to walk with them as opposed to saying, do this or do that. Just imagine your large retail store experiences where you go in looking for something and an associate says, oh, go to such and such an aisle, and you find yourself still wondering where it is or where this product is you're looking for. And at another store, somebody approaches you, says, can I help you find something? And then takes you there, walks with you, and makes sure that what it is that you're looking for is what you have in your hands and that you're satisfied with the experience. And lastly, when your family is genuinely available to you is when you really, truly feel like you belong to that group of people. And I experienced that in my foster experience with a few young men. They knew that they belonged. They knew that they had value and that I was available for them. And when things really got rough, they always came for help, for guidance. The best biblical example of belong is in the New Testament, where the believers had everything in common. It's a shining example, and the authors of this passage in Acts chapter 2 pointed it out, highlighted it as something to remember. Look, believers, this is what it meant to belong. This is what community looks like. This is what it looks like to be different than those around you and to be a city on a hill that cannot be hidden. Genesis 2:18 says that it's not good for man to be alone. Proverbs 27:17 reads, as iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. And this is so poignant because iron swords were used in combat. And when they were being prepared for their use, for their primary function, they had to be sharpened against one another. And it was by friction and repeated contact and heat and tension coming together over and over and over again in preparation that they were ready to serve their purpose. Pursuing belong gives us the principal context to live the, quote, love one another sayings of Jesus. By this, all men will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. Francis Schaeffer accurately writes that our relationships with each other are the criterion by which the world uses to judge whether our message is truthful. Christian community is the final apologetic. When we pursue belong, we sharpen each other for life and show our neighbor that our message is true.